Well, welcome back, fellow YouTubers, toy and toy train buffs, to another installment of the Milwaukee Northwestern layout. At least that's what I'm calling it. And this is going to be a combination vintage toy review, layout update, and a quick running session. Let's start out. Let's start off first with thanking all my new subscribers. I picked up a bunch, and I do thank you for your subscription. Please, when you watch the videos, press the like. That helps. Leave comments if you will. And I I hate to use an overworn phrase, but without further ado, let's get started with the video. All right. First thing I did, insofar as the progress on the layout itself is concerned, is I painted the front edge, or edge. It was bare wood before with this brownish undertone, sort of sloppily applied, haphazardly applied to portions of it. And I hated that look. I hated it like you wouldn't believe. It just looked so unprofessional, so yucky. I went to the cabinet behind me, pulled out a can of hunter green, gloss hunter green, which I've used on other projects, and I at least got this portion done. All right, and I like it. No more bare wood look. Next, we go to the backdrop. Now, this backdrop panel was already there, and it was a remnant or leftover from when I had my old Marksville and Plateau layout here, and you can go back through my videos and see what that looked like. The panel is 3 foot by 7 foot, odd size. I got it many years ago at Home Depot, and I think it was some kind of liner material for bathrooms. I'm not sure, but the 3 foot by 7 foot worked out quite well. I liked it. I had two panels on the map, Marksville and Plateau. That one that was there, and there was one behind me. The problem with those panels were that when I painted them in a blue that was so light. In photographs, it looked white, and I didn't like that. So I went to Lowe's, got a gallon of Valspar interior flat paint in a color they call Encounter. Repainted it. Then I got a small can of white and a small can of dark blue, and I just quickly did the clouds using a combination of natural sea sponge and brush to kind of blend things together. And it was a good enough for government work kind of a thing. Looks fine. I'm happy with it. Now, that second panel that was behind me there, I took that, cut that down, and of course, obviously, painted that as well. And now I've got panels that ring this layout, at least on these three sides. Yes, I've still got that area over there I've got to look at. That's another project down the road somewhere. Okay, that's the layout progress I've made. For all you new subscribers, I think I've said this in the past, but this particular layout is going to be done in what I'm hoping to accomplish is a big city in a small space vibe scene. All right, and that's what I'm shooting for: big city in a small space. So let's get on with the vintage toy reviews. First of all, let's take a look at that. See that K-Line? That is the K-Line Daily Whistle. And K-Line had put out 4 buildings. Each building, let me show you. And I've got all 4, by the way. I just haven't built them. They consisted, wrong box. We'll start with this one. They consisted of the basic kit. Now this is the bank, and it's bottom floor and a floor above it. All right, that's what you get. Fine, just as it is, no problems. But each one of those 4 buildings had a matching attic floor. Alrighty. And you just get 1 floor. As this shows, you get the basic kit at the bottom and 1 additional floor above it. So, each one of those kits was like that. Currently, this one has 2 attic floors, and I've got a 3rd one on order. I want it to go up higher. I'm going to build that bank, and I think I've got, I don't know, 2 or 3 additional floors for that. So it'll be at least this high, and it's going to go next to it right here. Alrighty, so that is the K-line. Look at the K-line kits. Next, I know you guys on who are also on Facebook and who watch my videos have remarked a couple times on this burning building here. Now that burning building is from, see, I'm filming with one hand and trying to move boxes around with the other. Alrighty. Boy. It is from, I want to give it the right, there we go. There we go. Ta-da! Multiple Toy Makers, also called Minor Industries, Multiple Plastics Corporation, MPC, kind of all used in a similar vein. This is the, got to turn the box around, Fire and Police Emergency Playset. Alrighty. And it's from 1977. Now, as a background for you guys who are new to the channel, I'm not only a train buff, but a vintage toy collector. And a lot of my vintage toys, one of my main collections has been fire and emergency things in general. I featured those on previous videos. If you go back, 2, maybe 3 years, and there is a video called A Bad Day in Marksville, and I had this whole area set up with burning buildings, vintage burning buildings, and vintage firehouses, and the whole place was full of vintage fire trucks and you name it. It was awesome. Now, as this whole thing progressed, and I decided to turn this into my Milwaukee Northwestern, and came up with this track plan, which is right now, quite frankly, is pretty much set in stone until I tear the thing down and do it again. Okay, I'm good for that. Anyway, so I'm kind of paying a little bit of homage to that. But also, too, growing up in Milwaukee, I lived on 29th Street. On 30th Street, the next block over, we had a firehouse that was, I think the cornerstone or capstone said 1905, that my uncle worked in. So we have a little bit of fireman history in the family. All right, so the Multiple Toy Makers playset consisted of this building, which looks pretty good alongside these other O-gauge, O-scale buildings. Pretty darn good. It had an odd mix of solid plastic figures. There are, let's see, There are 1, 2, 3, 4 of those solid plastic figures. There's 2 drivers, by the way. One here and one you can't see. Oh, there's a 5th one. There's a 5th figure. Then it was a combination fire and police. So we got this team of police ringing this car. These are all 50 millimeter figures, okay? And so that's kind of cool. When I said odd mix, it also had 2 of MPC's notorious ring hand figures. Oh, when I was a kid, I loved ring hand figures. I had a ton of them, and I have a ton of them now as part of my collection. Little Green Army Men, Spacemen, we got Firemen here. The one thing I don't have yet are the Cowboys and Indians. I do have cowboys. Got a bunch of Western stuff, but very few ring hand. No, I'm sorry, no ring hand Indians or Native Americans. Now the set also came with that ladder truck there, that pumper truck, another pumper truck, not this one right here. We're going to talk about that separately. So that pumper, that ladder, it came with this ambulance, a police emergency, kind of a SWAT type of vehicle. It came with a police chief car and a fire chief car. Now, being play sets, oh, I'm sorry, another fire chief's car. It's the same tooling, same molding as the police, except different colors. Being play sets, of course, you have a mix and match of scales. These companies, they didn't care about scale. They cared about putting together a play set with play value at a agreed upon price point. And that's what you got. Now, that is the MPC stuff, or multiple or minor. Like I said, it was called several different things. Then we have this fire truck right here. That is, got the original box for that. Fire engine and siren with firefighting firemen. This is from a company called NOSCO, which stands for the National Organ Supply Company. No, they didn't supply hearts and livers and gallbladders. No, not that kind of organ. We're talking the kind of organ that, you play in church. All right? Makes music. They started out making replacement organ parts, and they branched out into toys. They were more famous for a line of toys called Slum. Yeah, odd name, isn't it? Slum toys were, quite frankly, like the really cheap toys given away as premiums, oftentimes at circuses and carnivals. Could be anything else. It could be cereals or whatever. But they were mostly known for their line of slum toys. Really, really cheap line of toys. But they did have a few really cool toys that could stand alone. I guess the best way to call it is standalone toys. Like this fire engine. This fire engine is pretty spot on, and these are pretty good too, for old gauge, old scale. It's about 1957. Remember, this playset was 1977, and there's no date anywhere in the packaging, but I'm going by the American LaFrance designed fire truck, and it's about a 1957. It came with 2 seated figures, at least my set did, 2 seated figures, and 1, 2, 3, 4 of these. These are 45 millimeter, all right, figures. And it came also with an axe and a spade. Now, the only drawback to the set was, see these figures? Oh, crud. See the base? These can't stand alone. You can't play with these like you can with the multiple toy makers firemen. These fit on the truck, and that's it. They won't go anywhere else. Alright, that's it. You're stuck with them there. So you would have to rely on other fireman figures to play with. So there are multiple spots on the truck that you can plug these things into. But that's it. The fire truck itself, see if I can make a mess of things here, has a friction motor. Oops, I just had a couple casualties. Sorry. The Nasco fire truck has a friction motor, supposed to make an engine noise. It doesn't. It's just the growling, the growling of the motor. That's pretty much it. So, there we have it. There is our approximately 1957 Nasco American LaFrance fire engine. Our 1977 multiple toy makers fire and police emergency playset, and from about 1987 the K-Line building with Adafloor. Well, I'll tell you what, that was a lot. I'm winded. I gotta take a rest. Oh, you want to watch trains run? Oh, yeah. Almost forgot. I'm gonna do the last run of this particular train for a while. I ran a couple of these cars on the smaller edge of town layout, but really I couldn't run this whole consist because it's too long. I got a couple new cars in, and I'll tell you what, it's just too big for the edge of town. So the circus has pulled up stakes. It's gone on to the next town, and here we have the advertising car, box car full of supplies, the coach car. Let's see, we got the baggage. I'm sorry. I'm confusing my own self, aren't I? Let's do this. The Lionel Ballyhoo Circus engine. Box car full of supplies. Baggage car. The advertising car. Now, the real one is on display at the Circus World Museum in Baraboo, Wisconsin. Back in, and I saw this car back in '91 when I went there to visit. And the remaining cars, going through that forward neutral reverse thing, are a couple of coach cars, K-Line by Lionel, I believe. And this is strictly Lionel. Observation. I have been adding cars to this consist little by little over the last few months, and I tell you what, I had a blast with my circus stuff. I really did. Now, you notice the train back there? I'm not going to run it this time. It's not going to be in this running session. Why? 'Cause the engine's missing some parts. It runs, but it's just missing a few parts, and I don't want to run it on a video until I get those in, or I'm able to fix whatever it needs fixing. Alright, let's just get this thing going. And that's a short sound clip. That's all the tender does. Circus sound tender. But I love it. let's bring her on home. By the way, if I haven't already said it, I love this engine. Good smoker. The circus sound tender is unique. Very cool. Love the consist. Like I said, I'm getting more of these circus cars as time goes by. I know, don't quit my day job. Oh, wait a minute, I already did. I'm retired. Okay, anyway, enough yammering. Hope you enjoyed this update, vintage toy review, and quick running session out here on the Milwaukee Northwestern. And until next time, tschüss, adieu, auf Wiedersehen, bye you all, and a big shout out and thank you to all my new subscribers. Have a wonderful day, guys and gals. Bye.